Look, I've been in the oil business for over 20 years, and I'm about to expose the biggest scam in the energy markets today. The global oil glut they keep screaming about, it doesn't exist. It's a lie, a deliberate, calculated lie designed to crash prices, bankrupt independent producers, and let the big players steal the entire market. And I've got the proof. Yesterday, the media reported we're drowning in oil. Meanwhile, U.S. inventories just dropped 23 million barrels in October. India is scrambling to buy 24 million barrels of American crude because they can't get it anywhere else. There are 47 Russian tankers floating in the ocean with oil nobody will touch, but they count it as supply. How is the oil that nobody can buy part of a glut? I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration, and in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you how this fake surplus narrative is about to blow up in their faces. Because when you push a lie this big, this hard, for this long, reality eventually wins. And reality is about to hit like a freight train. The American Petroleum Institute just reported a massive 4 million barrel draw last week. Analysts were calling for a build. They got a massive draw instead. October alone, we've dropped 23 million barrels. 23 million. The media screams glut, while our strategic petroleum reserve sits at 390 million barrels. That's the lowest since 1983. You know what our reserve was in 2010? 727 million barrels of oil. We've drained nearly half our emergency supply, and they are telling you there's too much oil. They are lying, and I'll prove it. Right now, as I'm recording this, there's an Aframax tanker sitting idle in the Baltic Sea. It left Russia loaded with crude for India. Then it turned around. Why? India doesn't want it anymore. They'd rather pay more for American oil than risk Trump tariffs. That tanker is carrying 700,000 barrels that will never find a buyer. But the EIA counts it as supply. How can you count oil as supply when nobody will buy it? There are 47 tankers just like this one, floating storage that's really just sanctioned garbage. That's 33 million barrels the market thinks exist, but it doesn't. Trump's team just cut deals that are reshaping global energy. China agreed to buy 50 million barrels of U.S. crude to avoid tariffs. India switching from Russian to American oil, saving billions in trade penalties. Japan just doubled their U.S. energy imports. Every barrel they buy from U.S. is a barrel Russia can't sell. Putin's losing 100 million per day in oil revenue. Per day. And when desperate men get cornered, they do desperate things. Here's the number that should terrify you. 420. That's our rig count. 420 rigs. In 2022, we had 627 rigs drilling. The last time we were at 420 rigs, September 24th, 2021. You know what happened next? Oil shot up 50% in 8 months, from $73 oil to $110 per barrel. But here's what nobody understands. We've been maintaining production with DUCs, drilled but uncompleted wells. We had 8,500 DUCs in 2019. Today, under 4,200. We're running on fumes, burning through our last reserves while cutting new drilling. When those DUCs run dry, and they will within months, production starts declining fast. At $60 oil, shale producers are bleeding cash on every new well. They need $75 minimum to break even in the sweet spots of the Permian, 80 to 85 in the Bakken, depending upon water disposal cost. The Eagle Ford, forget it. They need $82 a barrel just to cover operating cost. But they keep drilling. Why? Because if they stop, their existing wells deplete 70% in 1 year. It's a death spiral. Drill or die. But drilling at these prices kills you slower. Wall Street knows. That's why shale financing dropped 67% this year. When the money stops, the drilling stops. When the drilling stops, we lose 2 million barrels per day in 6 months. Now, while everyone's watching America, the real story is happening in Asia. India's oil imports just hit 146 million barrels in September. That's a 1.7% increase month over month. Their demand is growing 5.8% annually. That's 300,000 new barrels every single day. China just announced a massive stimulus, infrastructure spending that will consume an extra 500,000 barrels daily. Brazil's agriculture boom needs 200,000 more barrels for diesel. Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, all growing 4 to 6% annually. Non-OECD demand is adding 1.8 million barrels per day, while shale production is about to drop 2 million. Do the math. OPEC just increased production by a pathetic 180,000 barrels for December. Why? Because they're watching American shale die. Saudi Arabia's energy minister said it clearly last week. We are playing the long game. They know what I know. Starved shell of capital now control the market forever. And it's working. Putin has one card left. Flood the market with $40 oil. Sell at any price to destroy American shale and Saudi profits. But Trump just made that impossible. With India and China buying American oil, Russia has nowhere to dump their crude. They're producing 9.5 million barrels per day with only 6 million in buyers. The rest, sitting in tankers nobody wants. So what does a cornered animal do? They lash out. Russia's now supplying Iranian proxies with hypersonic missiles. The Houthis have new toys that can reach any tanker in the Red Sea. Yesterday alone, 3 near misses on oil tankers. 22 million barrels per day flow through these waters. One successful strike and oil gaps up $30 overnight. And Russia knows this. They're counting on it. Listen to what the actual oil CEOs are saying, not the media spin. Total Energy's CEO just said it. He expects oil prices higher. He dismisses all this 2026 oversupply fear as nonsense. Saudi Aramco CEO Aman Nasser went even further. He called the 2026 oil surplus narrative fiction. His exact forecast? Demand growth of 1.4 million barrels per day in 2026. Strong fundamentals everywhere. These aren't analysts guessing. These are guys who actually pump the oil. They are telling you prices are going higher while the media screams glut. Who are you going to believe? Here's what the establishment doesn't understand about their own propaganda. The oil glut narrative is like a targeting system on a battleship. You aim where the target will be, not where it is. But every time they push this oversupply lie, they change where the target ends up. Think about it. When they scream glut, what happens? Oil prices drop, drilling stops, investment disappears. But low oil prices also boost demand. Economies grow faster, people drive more, airlines expand routes. It's like they're aiming their weapon at $50 oil, but by pushing the narrative, they're moving the actual target to 150. Every analyst knows this. Every smart journalist sees it. Push the glut story hard enough, and you create the exact opposite. A massive shortage. They are literally manufacturing the price spike they claim doesn't exist. This fake surplus story is destroying future supply right now. Major oil companies just announced $47 billion in project cancellations for 2025. Why invest when the media says there's too much oil? Deepwater drilling down 62% year over year. Arctic exploration completely abandoned. Conventional field development at 20-year lows. They are creating a supply cliff 3 years out that will make today's prices look like a gift. China's strategic petroleum reserve, they've been filling it for 2 years. 800 million barrels stockpiled, double their 2020 levels. They are preparing for something. When they stop buying for reserves, and insider reports say that's January, that's 400,000 barrels per day of demand that vanishes, unless they know supply is about to get very, very tight. Then they're the only country prepared for $150 oil. Trump's new sanctions package hits January 20th. Any bank, anywhere that touches Russian oil faces immediate cutoff from SWIFT. Deutsche Bank already announced they are out. HSBC following. Without Western banking, Russia can't even give their oil away. That's 3 million barrels about to disappear from supply that was never real anyway. October 22nd, Axios leaked it. Trump's team feeds fake oil collapse stories to CNN. Why? Keep inflation fears down, let hedge funds short, help Saudis steal market share. They report oil at 3-year lows when it's just down 17% from January. They bury the Houthi attacks, ignore the tanker seizures, downplay the inventory draws, but traders know that's why insider buying in oil companies just hit a 10-year high. Listen, the S&P 500 is near all-time highs. Bitcoin just passed 95,000. You know what smart money does? They sell high and buy low. Take those crypto gains. Take those stock profits while they're fat. Then put them into oil wells while oil's at $60. Here's the beautiful part. Oil investments are 100% tax deductible in year one thanks to the bonus depreciation recently passed. You're taking profits at the top, avoiding the tax hit, and buying an asset that's about to explode. When oil doubles to 120, those wells profitable at $40 become absolute cash machines. You've sheltered your gains, bought the bottom, and positioned for the spike. That's not investing, that's genius. The smart money already rotating out of overvalued tech and into undervalued energy. If you want details on conventional oil investing, check the link in the comment section below. 420 rigs can't maintain 13 million barrels of production. Russia can't sell 3 million barrels nobody wants to buy. India and China buying American locks in higher prices. Ducks depleting means production drops are coming. Inventories plummeting while media screams glut. Oil CEOs calling for higher prices while media says surplus. The glut narrative creating its own shortage. OPEC waiting to pounce. Russia getting desperate enough to do something stupid. This isn't speculation anymore. This is math. We are approaching a supply crisis that could make 2008 look tame. Could we see $85 oil by February? Very possible. $100 oil by April if geopolitics heat up? I wouldn't bet against it. And if the Middle East explodes or Russia does something desperate, triple-digit oil becomes inevitable. I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration, and I've been in these fields for 20 years. I've seen boom and bust cycles. I've watched narratives flip overnight, and I've never seen all these factors line up like this. The pieces are in place. The fuse is lit. The only question is, will you be ready when reality hits? If this video opened your eyes, share it now, subscribe, hit the notification bell. The algorithm doesn't want you seeing this truth, but every share gets us closer to exposing the biggest lie in energy markets. Time's running out. Thanks for watching.